Friends, stop blindly bottom fishing Intel immediately. I'm not being alarmist. Just take a look at this earnings report that violates almost every rule of financial common sense. Intel just released its Q4 results. EPS came in at 15 cents, nearly double Wall Street's 9 cents expectation. Revenue hit $13.7 billion, comfortably above the $13.4 billion forecast. Under normal logic, this should have been a rocket ship green candle. Instead, reality smacked bulls in the face. After earnings, Intel didn't rise, it got dumped. Down over 13% after hours, finishing the day down a brutal 17%. So the question is obvious, why does a perfect score trigger a crash? The answer is simple. Smart money read the fatal signal hidden in the footnotes. In Intel's Q4 2025 earnings call, I found the most precise and most desperate description of Intel's current state. Straight from CEO Lip Bhutan himself, hands, stop, mouth starves. Those 4 words are the core investment logic of this entire video. This is no longer about nobody buying. It's a far nastier problem. We can't make it. The inventory burn. Hands stop, mouth starves means Intel aggressively burned through all buffer inventory to polish its Q4 numbers and meet the surge in AI and data center demand in the second half of last year. That decision shoved Intel's supply chain into a full-blown shock state. A chip comes off the line today. Sales can only ship that exact chip today. Warehouses are empty. Zero margin for error. It's like a bakery that's run out of flour. New dough is still fermenting, but customers are lined up outside with cash. Orders with no inventory. That's the physical supply cutoff, and it shows up directly in the disastrous Q1 2026 guidance. Intel expects Q1 revenue to plunge to $12.2 billion, well below the market's $12.6 billion expectation. But the real horror is profits. EPS guided to 0. But what actually triggered the sell button wasn't past performance, it was Q1 2026 guidance. Look closely at these cliff-edge numbers. Q1 revenue guidance, $11.70 to $12.7 billion, midpoint $12.2 billion. That's not just below analyst consensus, it's near the absolute seasonal floor of Intel's history. And then the suffocating line, non-GAAP EPS, 0. A company earning 15 cents per share in Q4, earning nothing 3 months later. Where did the profit go? Not demand collapse, not cost explosion. This was a supply-side gamble gone wrong. The real truth from the call, piecing together the earnings call, reveals the full picture. To dress up to H 2025 results and force-feed data center demand, Intel made an extreme decision. They burned every ounce of buffer inventory. In supply chain management, buffer inventory is the moat. It absorbs yield swings, demand spikes, and production accidents. Intel tore that wall down to chase AI market share and keep customers from defecting. Zinsner admitted it outright. We don't have much inventory left to rely on. That left Intel starting 2026 in a naked, fragile state. Wafers come off the line and go straight into customer hands. No middle buffer, no safety net. But it gets worse. After burning inventory, when Intel tried to restart the engine started free spinning. This hits a core semiconductor law, capacity conversion lag. The fatal time gap. Intel is undergoing a massive capacity restructuring. Higher margins in data center and AI chips pushed management to redirect wafer capacity away from PCs toward servers. Strategically right. Tactically lethal. This shift began in Q3 2025. But chip manufacturing isn't steaming buns. You just turn up the heat and wait 30 minutes. Advanced chips take months from blank wafer to finished die. So a deadly scissors gap formed. Wafers launched in Q3, Q4 are still sitting in lithography queues or diffusion furnaces. They won't ship until late Q1 2026. Old inventory, gone. New supply, not ready. That's the supply vacuum. Money with no product. Customers at the door, empty shelves inside. That's why Q1 guidance looks so ugly. Internal resource war. To protect high-margin AI and data center units, Intel sacrificed client computing. PC revenue fell 7% YoY, 4% Coke. 1 Pi, limited capacity. Feed the crown prince, starve the secondary son. Management even warned, PC revenue declines could worsen in Q1. Every resource, wafers, packaging, testing, even memory is being diverted to servers. Lip Bhutan revealed hyperscalers get memory priority, meaning without giving CPUs to them first, Intel can't even sell finished chips. Why the crash was inevitable. This wasn't just a slowdown. It was Intel paying the delayed bill for 6 months of aggressive strategy. Supply chain elasticity collapsed. And this wasn't speculation. It was confirmed directly by management. The rare CEO confession. On Wall Street, CEOs usually hide behind language. Bad macro, customer optimization, challenging environment. But Lip Bhutan broke the script. Asked about supply bottlenecks, he said, "Our manufacturing yields meet internal plans, but they are still below where I want them." That sentence matters. He went further, naming two brutal engineering metrics: defect density and consistency. On both, Intel is not yet best in class. In semiconductors, yield is the profit multiplier, same wafer cost. 90% yield gives 90 chips sold, 50% yield gives half the output becomes trash. That doubles unit cost and guts margins. That's why Q1 gross margin is guided down to 34.5%. Invisible scrap is eating profits. But Tan didn't stop at confession. He revealed yields are improving 7 to 8% per month, fast by industrial standards, still slow for AI warfare. Yield acceleration is now Intel's #1 priority for 2026. This leads to the second bombshell, CapEx reversal. Intel is done being a factory-building maniac. Total 2026 CapEx, flat to down. But money is shifting sharply from buildings to tools. Shells don't print money. Lithography, etching, deposition tools do. Intel's new logic: enough buildings. We need guns, not warehouses. Instead of burying billions in concrete for plants that open in 3 years, Intel is stuffing advanced equipment into existing fabs right now. This is wartime pragmatism. This is ICU surgery. Upgrading tools while lines keep running is like changing tires on a leaking race car at full speed. One slip, yields swing again, and supply collapses further. Most investors bail here. That's the rearview mirror mistake, because the final most disruptive truth is this. In AI's second half, CPUs aren't dead, they're taking command. The GPU-only fantasy is wrong. Training favored GPUs, inference and AI agents favor control, logic, orchestration. Think of AI as a giant company. GPUs are strong workers, CPUs are management, who assigns tasks, who routes instructions, who handles interrupts and memory scheduling. The CPU. Intel calls it the core commander. Data proves it. Data center and AI revenue hit $4.7 billion in Q4, up 15% COC, the fastest in a decade. If CPUs were obsolete, where did that growth come from? Hyperscalers need top-end Xeons or their H100s are useless scrap. Even memory allocation depends on CPU priority. The CPU isn't the star, it's the stage. The kill zone is H2 2026 to H1 2027. That's Intel Foundry's exam day. One for a customers decide then. Two questions matter. Are yields truly stable? Can Intel deliver at scale without burning cash? If Intel lands a top-tier 1 for a customer, valuation flips overnight. If not, extinction risk becomes real. Management locked itself in with financial handcuffs. No customer, no capacity expansion. That discipline caps downside. Is Intel a buy right now? Let's break it down in 60 seconds. Intel's stock has taken a hit lately, and honestly, I'm staying on the sidelines for now. Why? Their core business, data centers and PCs, is facing some serious headwinds. Plus, the competition from AMD and Nvidia is fiercer than ever. Building new foundries is a massive, long-term gamble, and we won't see the payoff for years. So, what would make me change my mind? I'm watching for 3 key signals. First, a clear turnaround in their data center sales. Second, solid proof their new manufacturing tech is on track and competitive. And third, consistent growth in their foundry services, showing they can win over big customers. Until I see those green flags, I believe there are better places for your money in the tech sector. What's your take on Intel? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stock analysis.